an open session. Can I remind members that subsequent to the committee's decisions last week in relation to proceedings with hearings on the sale of NAMA assets, quote-unquote, an investigation has now been launched. Can I advise members that in deciding the way forward in light of the changed circumstances, there will be a need to balance the public interest in this matter as reflected in the committee's scrutiny with the need to ensure that the committee's scrutiny does not prejudice any investigation or potentially undermine any possible fair trial in the future. Now, obviously, we've had discussions about this in closed session, and I am proposing that the committee draft a terms of reference and terms of inquiry. I'm proposing that we continue with our work in this area. There are clearly areas where there is a risk to any potential fair trial in the future. So members will need to be mindful of that at all times. Any members' views at this stage in terms of how we move forward?
Mr.
Chair.
Yeah, I agree that we should go forward on the basis of having terms of reference or framework in which we can work, and that must be obviously within the legal remit of the committee in relation to the department and the functions of the department. But at the same time, I certainly agree that we should at all times avoid any type of action which might in the future prejudice any trial which might take place. But at the same time, I don't think that we should curtail our range of witnesses, but we should structure our hearings in such a way as to help ensure that the danger to any future trial is eliminated or at least minimised.
Okay, members broadly agreeable to that approach. Can I also, the Department of Finance and Personnel were invited to give evidence here today, as were the Law Society, and I'm grateful for the Law Society's attendance. Unfortunately, of course, there has been a change in circumstances, but it's highly unusual, and certainly from my 8 years as an MLA. You boy. I've never seen a case where the department has failed to send officials to a committee. So I'm noting that with concern. That the committee has not had departmental officials before it here today. Obviously, there are questions in terms of the Department of Finance and Personnel. So I expect the Minister to send officials to this committee next week. The Department of Finance and Personnel clearly is within the remit of this committee, and regardless about how controversial this issue is, departmental officials should not be running away from it, and I take it as an insult to this committee that they haven't sent anybody, not one member of the department has come to the committee here this morning to speak to members about an issue which is of huge public concern, north and south. And also I would like to request a copy of all DFP and ministerial papers relating to NAMA and any potential dealings in regard to NAMA and the Project Eagle portfolio for members' information. And like I say, I would expect that before next week's meeting, and I would expect that officials and departmental representatives will be ready to answer questions on all of that. Also, the Public Accounts Committee in the Dáil has received evidence from NAMA, and I also take it as an insult to this committee that NAMA officials again have said that they will not be sending anybody to this committee to listen to committee members' concerns, and indeed the concerns of the public here in the north. NAMA has had a role in the North. They have a role in the North, and in terms of these particular issues, they will continue to have a role in the future. So it is their responsibility to send representatives to this committee to answer questions about how Project Eagle and the Northern Portfolio has been handled. And what I am proposing is that we write to the Finance Minister, Michael Noonan, asking that he strongly advise NAMA to attend this committee, and also within that letter state that we will be prepared to compel NAMA if they do not volunteer to come forward to the committee. Any other members' views at this point?
Yes, Chair.
Ciala?
Yes, Chair. And just to echo what you've just said, and it would be within the public interest that the Department do come in terms of areas around policy, accountability, and as I said earlier, transparency and openness, and around procedures on others. So just to echo what you've said, I think it's very important, and it is disappointing that they haven't sent anyone here today in terms of ourselves prior to initiating this inquiry. So I think it is important that next week, if we have a meeting, that they are representatives of the department here.
Deputy Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm very disappointed at the attitude of NAMA. After all, the particular portfolio which was sold in this case pertained to the north of Ireland, all the properties within it. Their owners were citizens here. NAMA has a Northern Ireland Advisory Committee onto which the Irish Government, I believe, appoints someone from here, and the Executive does likewise. So there are clear implications, and I think it's very regrettable that NAMA have taken the attitude that they have, and that I believe that we should, if necessary, go to the extent of our powers to ensure that they appear here. And I would agree with the previous speaker and with yourself that it's totally unacceptable that the department has snubbed the committee here by refusing to send any officials here, and that should be addressed, I believe, with the Minister as soon as possible. And in relation to the Law Society, because of the discussions we've had today, we'll not be hearing from them today, but I personally have questions which I would like to ask the Law Society. So I'm taking it that the Law Society will be called before the committee in one way or another in the future.
Well, that will be a decision for the committee ultimately, but at this point, given that we are looking again at our terms of reference, then we're not saying anybody is out or anybody is in terms of the witness list. Our priority at this stage is to ensure that the terms of reference is framed in such a way that it does not infringe in terms of any future prosecutions or any future trials. So whilst there has been suggestions that the committee ceases its work entirely, I am taking from today's discussions that the committee wishes to continue to pursue issues pertaining to NAMA, pertaining to the Department of Finance and Personnel, and pertaining to Project Eagle. But there will be areas which members will be advised to step quite carefully round, given the concerns that have been outlined by the NCA. But we are not in any way being shut down. We're just going to reframe how we're going to approach this.
We're not being curtailed in any way. Thank you.
Okay, any other members? Moving on to correspondence. We have a letter from Cerberus, a letter from Tuhans, and a letter from IMPO in relation to availability to meet the committee, can I suggest that this be considered next week, given that we are reframing the terms of reference of the investigation, and to look at that again. There's also at page 112 of your packs a letter from NAMA declining the committee invitation, and we've dealt with that matter already. There's also correspondence from a member of the public concerning the sale of NAMA assets at page 113. Could I advise members just to take a quick look at that and take members' views on how they wish to deal with this anonymous email and a future anonymous email, given that there are a number of allegations contained therein.
I think Chair would just note them.
Okay, members content to note that correspondence. In terms of the next meeting, given that there is an urgency to try and tie down the terms of reference, are members content to try and arrange a meeting for early next week to deal with that particular issue? Okay. And staff will be in contact in due course. Any other business? Okay, meeting closed.
Northern Ireland Assembly, Committee Room 30.